I mean, we moved into that space because it's a very immature market, and most investors who are or have been investing in logistics have stayed kind of in a very prime area and kind of assets everyone can understand, kind of long-term LATs assets close to Frankfurt Airport or at the port in Hamburg, usually with a 10+ lease. But actually, these assets, there are very few of them. Most of the market has leases way well below 10 years. New leases average is usually about 5 years. So there's a large field to play with, and it's a field which in the UK is already, in a long time, part of the investment market. But what has been lacking, and that I can add to what you say, is specialist investors. And that's why we teamed up with one of these specialists to kind of understand that market better, because the best logistics locations are not that obvious. I mean, you have locations like in Rhein-Neckar area, or Bad Hersfeld and Hanover. There's all places in terms of office or retail that would not be in the top 20 list, but for logistics, they're the absolute perfect locations. And also, very important for logistics is the asset reproducible? And we have a lot of areas in Germany, kind of saturated economic areas, especially around Stuttgart or Munich. It's very hard to build new space. And these are usually also the kind of economically strongest areas. And there, even in a downturn, you have easily enough demand. You keep your properties occupied, especially if you just invest in logistics properties which are easy to let to all sorts of logistics users. So it's industrial users, 3PL users, retailers, and e-commerce and others. So it has to be a very standard sort of box.
And do you think there was one of the trends that I was seeing as well, supposedly coming across, is that you'll begin to get logistics developments much closer to cities as well, as the trend for people wanting things to be delivered, not just next day but same day, those kinds of things. Is that going to be seen in Germany? Is that an opportunity?
That's the future. It's not there yet. Most of the kind of e-commerce, they're currently building their network, and they're usually starting with 1 or 2 hubs in a very central location. That's why Bad Hersfeld is so popular. But from there, they usually get it kind of 1-2 days delivery to any place across Germany. That's a trend from the US that we actually want to be offering same-day delivery as well. But for that, most logistics or most e-commerce companies have to build their German network first, before they can think about that. And they're going to find that these sort of assets are going to be quite expensive and quite high rents, because all the places close to city centres, rents are a lot higher than in usual logistics locations, more out of town, close to a motorway.
And does that then mean that there's a good chance that there'll be rental increases, that you can actually begin to get more from your asset?
I mean, we're usually happy to have rents being stable. So, I mean, Germany is not a market where you go for rental growth. We are happy if occupancy rates stay relatively high, there's not too much new space built, and if you can let a building which has been aged probably for 5, 7, 10 years, more or less the same rent we started with, including indexation, we are very happy with that, and we wouldn't build in any exciting rental growth in any sort of logistics. We did just very exceptional cases, but it shouldn't be the norm. I mean, that's especially the interesting market. I mean, there's that kind of froth of very big logistics assets with 50, 60, 70,000 square meters, usually let to a large retailer with a very long lease. But with these kind of assets, you are in the hand of that occupier, because usually they're in locations far away from any other logistics place. And if the lease comes up for renewal, we will have a very hard time to discuss the terms with them. And the most interesting bit is kind of where most of the market is actually playing, which is usually kind of 5 to 20,000 square meters per tenant. And there's the largest occupier market, it's standard requirements, and that's where most logistics companies kind of are operating it in that sort of lot sizes. So we wouldn't go for properties larger than 30,000 square meters, and even then we probably want 1 or 2 tenants, not just one.